session, and then looks like we were gonna go do quick play first, right?
Yeah, that is what we talked about.
Okay, well, I'm gonna get on my alt account real quick, and then I'll friend you in game in a second. You're on the European server side, presume?
Yeah, I was going to say that should I go to Europe or American, but I can go to Europe. I play there.
Yeah, I'll just sign on those servers.
Okay, good.
Okay, sent a friend request.
Yes, just a second. Accepted.
Alright, well then, whenever you're ready, you can hop in a queue, and then we can maybe talk while you're in a queue.
Yeah, we can keep the Discord open. I will then queue up as a tank, because that was the idea, so...
Okay. So
at least that is really fast queue.
Are we mainly going to be going over tank? Because you also said that you played support.
Yeah, I would like to start with the tank part at least, because that is what I'm trying to focus currently. I do a bit better as a support than I do as a tank, but if we start with the tank part and we can see, then I could take some tips, of course, as a support. But I feel that tank is much more trickier. Yeah, I got the game right away, I think. Yeah.
Welcome to Paris.
Alright, so how long have you been playing the game for?
A couple of years now. I haven't usually played a lot of like FPS games. I have really bad motion sickness, but Overwatch doesn't trigger it. So when I found it, I poured all my time into the game. So I played it tons. I had a friend who played, and my friend got me in the game and said the best way to learn the game is to play Mystery Hero. And I got addicted to that game mode. As I said, I have over 400 hours Mystery Hero, and my game style went really weird because of that, I feel.
Yeah, that's a really interesting tip. I'd say probably the best mode if you're trying to improve would be competitive, since it's the most competitive environment.
Yes.
When there's not people trying, it doesn't really challenge you that much, which can lead to mistakes not being punished, which means that you're not going to really learn from your mistakes. So that's going to be a big thing. But we'll see if I can pick up on a few different things once.
By the way, the game is starting, but I don't know if you...
I'm spectating.
Yes. But yeah, that is my issue, so I kind of want to improve from that kind of lax part of myself.
Barrier won't hold together.
Okay, so first thing is you're never really going to want your barrier to go down all the way, because then you're not going to need it for if you actually need to block important damage. So especially when you're just solo shielding like you are right now, you might want to save it for more specific abilities rather than just taking a whole lot of spam with it. So for example, when you're doing a Genji like this, then you would put up a shield, or when you see other abilities coming in like an Ana nade, or you see that somebody's about to die, something like that, rather than just having it take a whole lot of damage right off the bat. So once they start rotating into the room, so you can have it up to start here, and then once you see that they're all in the room, then you can take it down and then put it back up once they're out of the room.
Barrier is out of it.
Yeah, I destroyed it again. It's bad old habits to get away, more or less.
Okay, you should basically be spamming all the time, so there's not going to be a time where you want to be not doing nothing. So always be holding left click and shooting if it's available, because that way you're getting ult charge in, getting damage in, and then possibly getting kills from it.
Yeah.
That music.
And my ult is one of my weakest points. I have a lot of difficulties to pull it off. I feel that people interrupt me all the time. Like, I get it up, I do it, it's Hawk Hook, it's Ana, it's McCree, something is killing me up in the sky. It's like, how you even pull it off is my question sometimes.
Alright, well, we'll look at that. The biggest thing is you're just going to want to play safe with it, especially now that you can be cancelled out of your ultimate. You're going to not want to push forward super aggressively like you used to be able to do.
Yeah, and the shields are nerfed, so it's like paper, I feel sometimes. Uh,
So I'd react a little bit faster with that, knowing that he is blading. As soon as you hear that blade, then you start ulting. And then what you want to do is aim at where your support's at. And after he got that kill, he actually that resets his dash. So you have to wait for him to dash again so you can actually catch him in it. Because you saw that he just dashed out of it. So you either have to do it before he gets a kill or do it if he does get that kill. You have to try to wait till he dashes again because he just got out of that and then he got more kills with the blade, and then that's basically why they won the fight.
yeah,
So
that's good tip because I did see in some YouTube video people say that it's good to stop Genji's ulting, but yeah, it is hard when they are dashing around.
Surrender to my will.
would you be interested in learning how to ult track? Because especially with an ultimate like Stigmas, it's gonna be very important to know, for example, that Genji has his blade there.
Hmm?
Uh,
Yeah. Any tips to get it better? Because I feel like I'm a bit stuck where to go with my like what to train, what to look at, like.
Alright, so real quick, I'm gonna stream on Discord. Don't hop in the queue yet.
Yes.
So we're gonna talk about a few different callouts. So this, do you typically talk in chat or do you refrain from that? Especially since I know it's EU and you're
I do talk, but it's only with my friend group is around. I had the issue before, and that's why I played a lot of support because I had hard time sometimes doing the callouts. You know how toxic online world can be,
Yeah.
and Overwatch can be really toxic. But if you have a friend, usually the friend is there to like bash them back if they get too bad, or tell them to be quiet. But I do callouts when
Alright.
it's in the comp, but
Well,
I
then,
don't feel like I want to do it in a quick play because no one joins
Yeah.
the voice in quick play.
Yeah, I understand that. And I don't expect you to talk much, especially when
Yeah.
I'm here and talking to you. So I'm just gonna walk through a whole bunch of different callouts real quick, just
Yes.
for when you are especially around your friends and whatnot, so that you can actually
Yeah.
know what are good ways to call out.
Yeah,
So
but it's good to know, like, understand better.
okay, so there's gonna be three different types of callouts. There's target calling, there's ult tracking, and then there's shot calling. So target calling is gonna be the
Mhm.
simplest, and that's just calling out a target's name. So Tracer, Reaper, Rhine 999, and then you're gonna spam that name because that's gonna
Yes.
get it the point across, and then that's your target calling voice, which will mean that you want your team to focus that. And when your team focuses it, when you have 6 people shooting at something, they're gonna die a lot faster. When things die faster, that means that they can't get healed, which means that both supports get less ult charge and they get less ult charge and they do less because they're dead faster, which therefore lets you choose something else to focus. So
Mhm.
ultimately, that'll be very helpful, especially in 2CP scenarios where they're trying to stall point and you're all focusing different targets. It's going to be really hard to kill them all and they can stall it out really long.
True.
But when you can actually focus things down, they'll die faster. So when you're on certain supports, it's going to be a lot harder. But if you're on tanks, especially something like Sigma, who's going to be shooting at things, you can definitely call targets to be focusing if it's in the middle of a fight. So next step, kind of for callouts, is going to be watching kill feed, because if you watch kill feed, then that's going to allow you to know the sway of the fight, and then that's going to be the first part. The shot calling is calling when fights are won and lost. So if you're up one person, that's an advantage. So if you see that you get a kill, that's not a team fight win yet, but you do have an advantage. So you can be a little bit more aggressive. If you're up two people, unless it's in a situation where it's like overtime or it's like 2CP on second point, something like that, where there's no reason to back up. If you're up two people, then that's a one fight. So you don't want to be using more ultimates. Like unless it's one of those cases where I said before, like it's overtime, the game's almost done, or it's like 2CP and you're about to win the round. Then you just hold on to ultimates because you don't want to use ultimates in a fight that you already won. Because then you're just wasting it. So you can call out no ults, we won the fight, something like that. In the same way, it goes the other way too. If you're down a person, that's not a loss yet, but it's a disadvantage. If you're down two people, that's a loss. So don't call no ults, we lost. back up, regroup, something like that.
Yes.
So that your team knows to back up and not use ultimates. So now we're gonna get into ult tracking. This is gonna be helpful, incredibly helpful to your team. But then even if you don't want to say it to your team, this is still really helpful for just you
Yes.
personally to know what ultimates they're coming up on, because that allows you to plan in your head of what you're going to be doing for the next fight. So in between every single fight, what you want to do is press tab, because that's going to give you a whole lot of information. The first thing right off the bat is you're going to look at the enemy team, and you're going to go left to right, and you're going to go through a process of elimination to see what ultimates they have. So we're going to go, okay, last fight, I saw or heard them use Nano, Bob, and Window. So they don't have those ultimates because they just use them. They just swapped from Soldier to Bastion, so that means that they don't have Bastion ult. I don't know if they use Brig or D.Va ult, so you ask your team, did they use Brig or D.Va? And they say, well, they use Bomb. So you say, okay, the next fight, they only have Rally. That's it. And then maybe they're like close to Nano because she nanoed early in the fight, something like that. So once you get better at this, you'll be able to know closer to percentages rather than just knowing if they have it or not. So you'll be able to say, okay, well, Ashe's 50, Ana's 70 because they used it semi early. Bap used it right at the end of the fight. Bastion just swapped, so he's at 0, something like that. So you'll get better at it as time goes on, but it's really important to know this information. So if you, let's say, for example, you have edible ultimates, so you have Far Barrage, you have Reaper, you have Tracer Pulse, Mei ult, so all things that D.Va can eat. If D.Va knows that they have those, it makes it much easier for D.Va to eat them. Same thing with like if Ryan needs to block ultimates like Bomb or Shatter, or even things like if your supports have defensive ultimates like Lucy or Zenyatta, it's really important for them to know that they have Blade or Barrage. And in the same way, it's really important for you as Sigma to know when they have Blade or when they have big ultimates so that you can counter it by using your ultimate. So if you know that they have Blade, you're looking for it and you're reacting to it immediately because you know that they're coming in with that, rather than reacting to it a couple seconds late because you didn't know that they had that.
Yes, that's true.
We'll go ahead and skip the last one. We'll just briefly go over it, but the last one's just gonna be ult management, where you'll go over your ults real quick, and you'll just say, okay, we're gonna use a few here. So let's say, for example, we're gonna use this bottom six, these middle 6 here. You press tab right after you ult track. You're gonna say you have 6 ultimates. You don't want to use all 6 ultimates because if you use 6 ults, then they win. Come in the next fight and they win because they have the ult advantage. So you say, okay, we're gonna use pull, Mei, and then call us if we need it. So you're comboing abilities, but then you're also calling to only use 2 ultimates, and one is even on a condition. So you're saying, okay, if we need it, then we're using this. That way you're not using 6, and then you're also comboing it so that you're getting the pull Mei off effectively. This is really important when you say, like, maybe let's use Grav Dragon.
Yes.
A lot of the time you'll have Grav Dragon, but then let's say your Zarya shoots Grav off while Hanzo's dead, or maybe one of them is like 2% off of their ultimate, or Hanzo just whiffs out Dragon before Zarya grabs. That's a very good, easy team wipe if you get it off effectively, but they might not be looking for it if you don't call it out. So it makes it a lot easier for them to notice that and take that into account. Okay, so that's just a whole lot of the call out things. It's gonna make it up your game sense just in terms of even if you're not using it to call out, it still ups your game sense of knowing when team fights are won and lost, what ultimates they're gonna have, what your team's gonna want to be doing, that type of thing.
True. Yeah, it sounds reasonable, like, and it's something I know I need to pay more attention. I don't track the ultis so well. Maybe I try to do the callouts for targets, but that's the only main point or where I'm going to, so I could get the group follow. And I always just cross my fingers. Please listen, and it works and it doesn't work. You know, in this rank, like gold rank is not exactly always the one where everyone follows. So it's really nice. I have a couple of friends to play with because I know they will stick up to me at least.
Yeah, you definitely just have to keep in mind that none of this is 100%. If you call these things out, everyone's not always going to listen, but it does up the chances that it will happen than if you didn't say anything at all. Even if it's just like, let's say, 10% more of the time it happens, that's still 10% more of the time that you're winning games because you're getting effective call out and communications happening. Alright, so you can probably hop in queue for another game, and then we can hopefully get a longer one this time.
Yeah, that was, it's a quick play, so.
Yep.
But that's the good part is the tanks get so fast in the matches, so there's no idle wait time for that.
Yeah, it usually stinks when I have to coach TPS and they get the 10-minute queues.
Yeah, it's just so insanely long. So that's why nice. I have like a good friend from work who plays like DPS, but he's like he's really good. He can get up to diamond, and then he has a girlfriend who plays also and sees Mercy main in a cold rank like I am. so he ends up playing with alt accounts, and we get a bit stuck. So I was thinking of improving myself a bit, so get somewhere. And they were also really curious, like oh, tell me how it went, like maybe they. Will also get some coaching in the future because they want to get somewhere also.
Alright, sounds good. Alright,
Yeah.
I'm spectating now.
Okay. I think I
Now
will
traveling to Busan.
take the Sigma and see where it goes. Of course, it's nice that I feel, of course, it's not always that I can get Sigma, and I know that some tanks are better in certain maps, maybe better than, like against certain groups also, so I kind of like tips of course for Sigma, but he's not for every situation the best.
Yeah. So, are you interested in, or like, kind of segueing, like, is that saying you want to know which situations are better for other tanks?
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
and maybe some, if we see some general tips also, like, Hammond, I have no idea really how to make it work, but I know Diva is pretty okay.
Oh, yeah.
And Orisa is pretty nice. It's so slow, and the shield can only pop on one spot.
Round one. Capture.
Yeah, you definitely don't need to know every single tank, but it is good if you have a working knowledge of a few different ones. So maybe go over a few different ones if you get the chance, and then after the round's done, we can talk about some different situations where you might play different tanks.
This will restore
There was actually nothing to eat, but I can block the Ana.
The objective is low.
Alright,
Oh.
so there, that was a positional error. So what, you walk straight on the point there, which meant that you're out in the open, which is going to mean that you're taking a lot more damage than if, for example, you stood next to a corner, which would allow you to take less damage, and it also allows your shield to take less damage. So if you put half of your shield behind the wall, then that means that the shield's taking a lot less damage because there's less surface area for the shield. So the shield will die slower, and it'll also mean that you're around good cover when your shield does die.
My barrier is just your six.
Hey, remember, hold down left click even if you're just breaking that shield.
Oh, yeah.
You don't wanna really stop that. You have unlimited ammo.
Oh, and there we go.
Watch your health. Watch your shield breaking.
Yeah,
Be eating as soon as and backing up as soon as you see that you're low. You're around the 100 HP even before your shield broke. Probably
Okay.
just make sure you're watching that so you can
It's
back up
playing
once
again.
you do. Once your shield does die there.
yeah, I should. Sometimes the timing of the shift is not really the best for myself.
This whole time, just make sure you're holding left click. You're getting that. You're getting your ult charge here. If you're gonna be eating, take down your shield while you're doing that, so that your shield's not
Okay.
taking damage.
Barrier is destroyed.
And then you're also gonna get more damage in your eat, which will give you more health overall.
Activating the barrier. Barrier is about to break.
Okay, at least I have my team now for once.
Good
Oh.
block. It's from I'm assuming it was on purpose, but still a good block.
It's not easy to predict the Reinhardt one, usually.
Retrieving the barrier.
Okay, that diva bomb. Okay, not in the middle. Nice.
Barrier in place.
I thought I heard her.
This is my will.
Okay, what they are doing there?
Yeah, so this fight, you're probably gonna want to be looking to use your ultimate exit now that you're down 2 people. Probably as early as possible would be the best.
There's freaking Vito also shooting
So
me.
yeah,
That's really hard when you get in the air and there's a Vito also, like...
just remember that you also don't need to fly up into the air. You can just stay close to the ground. You don't need to use that fly to go up.
Oh, true. It's always like an instinct you need to fly up.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
that's something I have never... Okay.
yeah. So
never
there in
noticed.
that situation, like we were talking about with watching kill feed and knowing if you're up or
Yeah.
down in a fight, by the time you use your ultimate, you're already down 3 people. So that means that you either need to be using your ultimate a lot faster, or
Okay.
you probably just need to be using ultimate faster there in that situation. And then the other thing I'd say is that you probably want to try to look for people other than the tanks, because you're not gonna be able to finish off the tanks very easily with your
No.
ultimate if you don't have your team there. But if you get, let's say, at least even 1 or 2 people in the back line that are squishy targets who only have 200 health, then you can very easily finish them off, because then you can just left click them, maybe even rock them, and then they'll be taking half the damage as well. So I try to get supports or DPS if I could there, rather than the 2 tanks.
Barrier no longer
Oh, that wasn't good.
Pattern.
Yeah, so if you see the range shielding, try to flick rock to somewhere else so that you get somebody else with it. A lot of times
Yeah.
you're not really flicking your rock. I'd recommend using them more often. So like for example, I think twice last round Moira faded right as you pulled out your rock, and then
Yeah.
So,
that
yeah.
was bad.
just be ready to flick it in case something happens to where you can't hit, so that you can kind of throw it somewhere else
Barrier is unstable.
to actually get the value from it. Okay, good kill. Take it down.
If we are to progress, we must claim the objective. I'm under attack.
Oh my, I'm missing all those balls.
Surrender to my will.
Now would be nice to have a rock. No.
Okay,
No,
so
it's showing really well. I'm doing such a horribly today. Like, no way.
just put effort into that. Put thought into where you're shooting your balls. So make sure that you're remembering that it's 2 separate ones and that you can guide each of them. So after you hit the first one, you have to look to hit the second one too. So just put thought into it, and then eventually if you put a lot of thought into it and you practice hitting shots, then it'll just become natural. So you want to make it a habit, hit good shots. So once you practice it and get used to it, then it'll just come a lot easier. See, you're already hitting a lot more shots right now.
Yeah, I just yeah, I think I need to do some sort of practice for it, and
So while you're queuing, I'd recommend now with tank you're gonna have a lot faster queue times, but recommend like free for all. It's a good place to practice mechanics, because I'll talk in a second.
oh no. No, it was some bad positioning.
Yeah, after this game I'll demonstrate some better positioning. Bring your shield down so you can recharge it. That's 12 right now.
Ay, that was just horrible.
So
No.
during that fight, yeah, for about like 10 seconds you had your shield up while it was at 12 HP, and then that just meant that it wasn't recharging the entire time.
Yeah, that was like... At least you see the game where I do the most burst of myself, so that's good. I cannot really do a Rhine so well, so...
Okay.
yeah.
Defeat.
Okay, I'm gonna be streaming again.
Yeah, I will leave this. Okay.
So yeah, Free for all is really good for practicing mechanic because it's just mechanics. You don't have to focus on objectives, and you don't have to focus on teammates. You don't have any teammates to worry about. You don't have any a lot of enemies to worry about. It's just like kind of you and your duels. So if you play free for all, you can practice your hitting the
There is
1-2s
no
very easily.
obligation
You
for
can also go to
universe
training
to
range
make
if
sense to
you want to, though it's less realistic. So just remember that each shot goes somewhere different. So you can practice the 1-2s, like the 2 different shots go somewhere else. But the big thing I'm going to talk about right here in training range is going to be positioning. So a lot of the time, good positioning is to be around corners and around cover. So for example, where I'm at right now, if we place shield here and we're positioned right here, this is not good positioning because right now all of our shield is exposed, which is going to mean it's taking a lot of damage. And then when shield goes down, or breaks or something, they use abilities to go through it, then we're going to be taking a lot of damage because it takes 1, 2, 3 seconds to get behind the nearest cover. And then that means that during that entire time, they just shoot us in the back. So instead, what we can do is stand right here, which means that it takes half a second to get behind cover if we need to get behind
Do you
cover.
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Were you talking
You hear
before?
me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Because I don't hear anything from your end. I just rejoined the call, but I don't know. I don't hear you for whatever reason.
Hello?
Now I hear you again.
Alright.
I think. Yeah, now I hear you.
Yeah,
It
alright.
just suddenly
So-
stopped. I don't know what happened there. if you're gonna start the stream again, it's just
Yeah.
suddenly stopped.
Once I started, let me know if you can still hear me. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Alright.
it works perfectly fine.
Yeah. Discord's been weird lately with sometimes when I start streams, then it'll just cut out the audio. So at what point did I cut out?
Just when it started, I tried to write to you first, and then I rejoined, and so you need to start from the beginning.
I just start from. So did you hear me talk about free for all? At all?
The free for all part, yeah,
Okay.
it was only when you started the
Positioning.
streaming. So
Okay.
yeah.
So
Activating the barrier.
positioning. So right here, if you're putting your shield right here and you're standing right here, this is
Yeah.
bad positioning because if shield breaks or it goes down or they use abilities to go through it, like more coalescence, then that means you're gonna be taking a lot of damage, and it takes 1, 2, 3 seconds to get behind cover, which in that whole time they shoot you and then you die. Whereas, for example, you standing right here, it takes half a second to get behind cover. So you can once your shield breaks or you start taking damage, you duck behind cover, and you're safe. So this is much better positioning, as well as the fact that if you go like this,
Barrier in
now
place.
your shield's taking a lot less damage because half of it's cut off, and you don't need to be using the entire thing anyways because your team wants to be close to the cover anyways. If you're standing right here, it's the same thing as standing up there. It takes more time to duck behind cover. So you use the corner, and now your shield's taking less damage. You're taking less damage when your shield goes down, and overall you're gonna be taking less damage in general. Now you can use positioning in a lot of different ways. There's some unique positioning, like for example, if we come down here, this is good. This is a type of positioning. You can use cover like a platform like this. So now I don't have the range for this, but now we're out of the LOS of this spot up here. We can use things like this, so we can duck out people. If we're low, we can just kind of duck around this whole time, hit some shots, and then duck behind it the entire time, go back and forth. We can. We're gonna give one more demonstration up here. Second. So right over here,
Activating
same
the
thing.
barrier.
Hold a corner so you can be best friend. Like a lot of the time, you want to go corner to corner. Look for corners to stand behind or doorways, things like that. Places where you're gonna be taking a lot less damage because you have good cover. Same thing with right here. If you're standing right here or even forward here, you're gonna have you're gonna be very far away from positioning. So if somebody starts shooting at you or your shield breaks, then it's gonna take you a long time to get behind cover. Whereas if you're standing right here, then you're already behind cover. And if you're putting shield here and then you want to take space and you make space and then you're starting to push forward, then you can push over to here. And then once you start pushing them even farther back, so you can maybe move over here because there's a wall over here. come over here, keep pushing forward. Now we're moving over here. So we're using the natural cover and we're using walls and corners to let our shield take less damage and let us take less damage. And then when we, as the not necessarily Sig's not necessarily main tank, but kind of shielding off tank. If we're using good positioning, then that'll lead our team to use good positioning as well. Because let's say that your other gold teammates don't understand good positioning, but you do understand good positioning and you're positioning next to cover, then that means that all of your teammates now in the rest of your games are going to see that you're behind they're just going to come over here now because it's where the shield's at. They're going to come sit behind the shield or else they're going to die. And then now they have good positioning along with you. So by you putting the shield in good places, it's now upping your entire team's positioning. Okay, so that's pretty much it. For your ultimate, again, look, when you don't always have to go up in the air. You can stay low to the ground here, so you just place it out there. You don't, like we were talking about before, don't always have to do it right away. Take a little bit to place it. If the Genji has a dash up, wait for the dash to come out. If you don't want to get the tanks, wait a second, look for the supports, that type of thing. Besides that, I think we can probably hop into another queue now.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's a good point, and especially with the ulti, because I have been doing that up in the air all the time, so no wonder everyone gets me up from the air. It's so easy to just...
Also, just remember, you can also use cover. So if you're up in the air, you can look for cover to use on big and cover in the air. It's the same way that you would use cover as a Pharah in the air. So you looked for corners and objects in the sky to hide behind. And then if you're on the ground, you can also just duck behind corners and walls while you're ulting, so that you're not taking all the damage as if you were just kind of running straight at them.
Okay,
I'm spectating, you know.
Traveling to Numbani.
Let's go with Sigma again. Okay. We have Reinhardt also. But in situations like this, is Sigma good pair with Reinhardt, or should I I play a bit of Zarya and Orisa, of course, but is double shield anything good, or should I always try to go dive tank or Zarya when there is a Reinhardt as the other tank?
Do you play any diva at all, or are you just?
I know some diva. I'm not. Of course, my mystery hero hours, mostly diva is something I survive with. And I played something when I started because she was really forgiving hero, because you don't die on the first go. You kind of you can still get back up to the game. So yeah, I know some diva, but Winston I'm not as nearly as good. I feel Winston is much more complicated than diva.
Yeah, so diva would be really good in this scenario because one, there's a lot of high ground on this map, so you'd run, even if you ran dive, you'd be running a diva. But then also with Reinhardt, diva is also really good. Diva at the moment is a very good character. If you're running like an Orisa, then you might want to run a Sigma with it. You can really run a diva with almost any comp at the moment. And then Sigma Ryan's not the best combo. You're either gonna want to Ryan.
Get through this.
Sigma can work with Ryan, and honestly, the one thing I say is you can get any character up to a top 500 level. There's one tricks in top 500 as long as you take a character to learn.
Yeah.
It's really not until you get the team play that character picks really matter.
My team is not with me at least, so this is gonna be hard. But there's a lonely Ana. No, now I'm gonna be dead. That was a bit risky.
So you can cancel your boosts if you once you see that the junk's there and that you're getting low. You either turn around and fly back, or you try to cancel your boost by melee.
Oh, melee it cancels it. Okay.
Yeah, you can melee, or you can also press the same button again, and then either one of those will cancel it from just continuously pushing forward. The other thing there is you also don't have to push the Ana on your, or if the Ana's on her own, then that's fine. But you can also just make sure that you're staying with your team.
Yeah.
Be scared.
Move back. Time to raise my APM. Mecha activated. Now show them.
Probably don't have to use rockets for a baby diva like that, just because.
I do.
Yeah,
A bit
'cause-
too aggressive for that.
Because then you could have rockets in that scenario where you're diving on the Ana.
I'm gonna have to shoot you.
Add melees in when they're,
Oh,
especially when they're
sure.
low. When they're low, then it's an easy way to finish them off without having to hit that last shot, and it's a good burst damage.
Clearing the area.
Securing the objective. Healed up. Time to raise my APM. No.
Okay, so you weren't watching your health there, and you flew on the point when you were low. Make sure that when you're low, you're either requesting healing or looking for health pack. You're actually sitting next to a health pack, the mega health pack right there, that you could have flown over to.
True. True. It was in around the corner. That was, well, interesting ulti from him. But yeah, I have not played much Diva, so it's really nice to get these small dips that, you know, it's just not yet there, so.
I'm not a
And then these game sensitives will just basically apply to any hero. Like, just make sure you're watching health, make sure that you're watching your positioning, make sure that you're not jumping in the fights when you're down health and positioning. Which, like, all of those same things will basically apply to Sigma 2, just in a little bit of differences. So in that scenario where your Pharah is barraging, you can fly up to her to try to DM Defense Matrix her, so that she's not taking damage while she's in barrage.
Shut down.
Behind you. Move back.
No.
Right now you should be looking for a scenario to use your bomb. Monkey, just use bubble
Yeah.
to keep that in mind.
Bailing out.
Yeah,
There.
and Reaper eats me for dinner, so.
So if you see a Reaper coming upon you, you DM, and then you also can try to boost away from him. Don't try to take the duel, knowing that you can't win that duel. Other thing is, you possibly could have also used that bomb to get your mech back. Keep that in mind, as that's also an option. That way you're not going to this next fight out of mech.
True.
Okay, almost a mech back. You get it back. Make sure you're watching for bubble. So Monkey just used bubble, so now you have a free bomb because I don't have bubbles for that.
I'm just gonna get some backliners. Maybe? No. Too obvious.
I think
Yeah, you should be really doing like this nice trick shot you see some of the Diva mates do, like around corners and.
Routing power to forward
yeah,
area.
the one thing I'd keep in mind is just like, can they get away from it, and how many people are there? Right there, you just saw a Brig, and that was it. And Brig has shield that can stop the bomb, so just keep an eye out for that.
True. Oh yeah. That was that. But yeah, it is. That is something that you need to really practice and watch a lot, like other players. I think to learn all the Diva bump corners and nukes, and
Even Tagia.
because it rarely works actually going just to the point.
When leaning on the winning, I feel unstoppable.
Get through this.
Oh, it would be
So
useful to
instead
have.
of DMing, so it's kind of going to be the same thing with how you use Satan the Shield. Is so instead of just like DMing or a whole bunch of spam or just holding it down, try to
Yeah.
save it for specific abilities that you can get. So if you just kind of press tab real quick, you can say, okay, what abilities can we can eat? Mora orbs, we can eat Ana sleeps and nades, Ryan fire strikes, and those are going to be all of the abilities that we're looking out for. And then besides that, if somebody's low, we can defense matrix, Junkrat spam, Reaper coming in on somebody.
Actually, got
Remember-
use of it.
Yep, good E of the Reaper, but then also remember that you also had your rockets there that you could have used to burst them down faster.
Oh, true.
I'm gonna have to shoot you down.
Oh, what a farce.
Defense matrix activated.
Okay, Monkey doesn't have at least a...
Disengage this. All systems
Nope.
checked out.
Monkey doesn't have a bubble, but still everyone knows how to hide from it.
So what you want when you want to use bombs is in scenarios where they're distracted, they can't get away, they're not paying attention. There are only 2 people there, so you have also less likelihood of actually getting anyone with it. And then Monkey also had movement to get away from it. So you want to be very selective about when you use bomb. So be looking out for scenarios where you can use it easily. So on this last point, you can actually probably swap back to Sigma because there's less high ground that you actually need to take control of.
Yeah.
Diva is going to be really important for high ground based maps, but you actually got both the first 2 points already. So Sigma is actually going to be fine to pick on this last point.
Interesting question. How to make the payload...
Oh well, there they go.
Yeah, probably try to rock that fast. You could have saved Orion there. You
Yeah,
reacted
my
fast on the
rogue
rock.
was not... Yeah. My rogue was not really on the point. I hear the freaking...
Don't be holding on the rock here. If you have it, you can hit the monkey who's moving around. So that rock guaranteed the kill on the monkey there. So you can see how valuable that was. Make sure you're not leaving up shield in random places so that it's recharging in between fights and whatnot. And even in the middle of the fights, you can do that too. So that shield wasn't getting any value, and it's actually getting negative value because you could have been recharging it. Arc it up. If you're going for a far rock, try to arc it up. It's kind of like on a nade where it's going to have an arc to it. So if you want it to go further, you're going to have to look up more with it.
Oh my god, that bubble was just perfect.
Okay. So when shield's that low, you're not really going to get a whole lot of value out of it. So just make sure you're letting that recharge.
Back to me.
Nope. Whew. There is so much to think when you are a tank. Like, I feel that it's easier when you are DPS, but like as tank, you need to sustain your shield and positioning so much better to lead the group. So it's
Yeah, it's definitely probably one of the hardest roles to play game sense wise.
yeah, and I'm challenging myself to learn this. I will use some time on this.
Barrier in place.
Okay, I have ulti ready, and if I could get something from the back up there. Nice.
Really good. So keep in mind, while you're ulting, you can, in the time while they're up in the air, you can shoot 1 volley at them while they're in the air, and then 1 volley at them while they're stunned on the ground.
Oh, that's gonna be nasty. Oh,
Focus on Anna first there. The target's that's more likely to die, and if you don't focus her, then she just heals up the Reinhardt. You were trying to shoot at the Reinhardt when Anna's kinda right next to you. She's squished your target, and Reinhardt's nanoed with an Anna pocket.
yes.
Of the game.
Okay, so let's get in another queue. Probably fit
Yes.
maybe 2 more games in here.
Yep. Let's go. At least that is fast. That's something good. See. I'm in the game already again.
I'm spectating.
Welcome to
Okay, at least now. What does Zarya go together with? Is Sigma okay to go with
Sigma
Zarya?
is okay to go with
That's
Zarya.
Nice.
Ryan's okay to go with Zarya if you play Reinhardt. probably don't want to play dive characters with Zarya. Orisa's not that great of a combo with Zarya. So Sigma or Ryan would be the two recommendations.
No, that I thought so, and I feel even I'm not perfect, I'm still better as Sigma than Ryan.
Okay.
Of course, that is something also to practice and learn. But sometimes I feel that maybe I should like figure out. Everyone has their main characters and so on. Focus somewhere, because now I know a bit of many characters instead of knowing a lot for one.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Round 2.
Let's see.
Capture the objective.
Oh, and here see swap diva. It still works.
Barrier in place. Group up here.
Hey, make sure you're keeping an eye on what's happening in the fight. You can see, you can look through walls and see where your team's at. You kind of went on a flank there. I thought it was 2 point, that's not where the fight was happening.
Yeah, it was not at all. I was maybe too much waiting for the team to follow me where I was at.
So if you're not in chat to communicate that, you need to be very careful about paying attention to where your team's at.
Barrier is unstable.
Tactical visor activated.
Where is the Ana?
Very good using that middle pillar as cover.
I think I could use my ulti here if I just get it up.
Yeah.
I was going for the Moira, but I got a tank. Ah, but I'm alone already. It's not used anymore at this point. Yeah, it is something to really pay attention, is to learn how to read the game.
The equations were correct.
This is not your time.
The problem must
Assemble at this location.
Let's see if I can get the team just with text commands to work with me. I don't know how good is this point, but let's... no, they are pushing there, so maybe it's better I come here. Oh, no, I wasn't fast enough.
So that's a situation where if you're playing Sigma, the same thing with like if you're on Diva, you can look to eat ultimates that are edible. So they have a Mei, you can look to eat male. They have a Fur, you look to eat Repro. They have a Pharah, you look to eat Far ult. So that's gonna come in with ult tracking. So pay attention to the ultimates or what ultimates they're gonna have, and that's gonna allow you to eat it better.
True. But it's the timing is off sometimes for me. Like I hear it, but then I react too slow. I think.
Which,
Like I did hear the Mei ulti, like it's coming, and I clicked the shift maybe be too slow.
which, if you know that it is coming, then it allows you to react faster to it because you know that it's happening. So, if you know that the Mei is about to use her ultimate, then you can already be looking at her and be waiting for it rather than just reacting to it purely. It's kind of like if somebody says, I'm going to call you later on today, then you can expect that a call's coming. So you'll be ready for the call to come rather than just not knowing that it's coming and then maybe you're busy while it's coming. So if you know that it's coming, then you can set yourself up. So for example, like, if we're scheduling our session, you knew because we scheduled it to leave yourself open for this time. In the same way, if you know that they have the male, you're gonna try to make sure that you're paying attention to her and that you're not being that you're not distracted and you're not doing something else while the May's about to ult. So you're watching her and you're looking to see if she's about to use your ult so that you can try to eat it or try to at least get away from it at the very least. Okay, so we have 10 more minutes and we probably might even be able to, depending on how fast these are, we might be able to fit 2 in.
Yeah, it depends always on the game. Quick plays are pretty fast. Do you want me to go quick play or do you want to go something else, Drew?
Well, competitive, I wouldn't be able to spectate, so we don't have to stream it, and then we only have 10 minutes anyways.
Yeah, so it's better.
Yeah, quick play is probably the best option right now.
Quick play.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good.
Okay, so while you're in queue for like the minute that we have, do you have any questions about anything we've gone over?
It's lots to remember, and I think I need to learn and do just more games to actually. And as you say, I maybe should play more comp. My friends cannot always join, but maybe I just need to dare to go even by myself to just learn more, like there. And like questions are not right away. I'm just trying to process what you have said.
Yeah.
Like all this positioning, but it's good tips. Like I always use the shield. Like, okay, here, eat my shield, more or less. It seems, and the ulti, especially like flying around and going for the squishies. There's a lot of things, and yeah, tracking the ult charges is something I should pay more attention in the comp games also, because that is something I have not really been doing that much.
So the biggest thing I'd say, so like how you're kind of gonna apply this is, I'm gonna get you notes, and then you also have the live record, or you have the recording of what we went over. So I'll upload that as well, so you can always go back and see what we talked about. But just focus on one thing at a time, or a couple things at a time. So rather than trying to take every single tip I've given you and applying it all at once, look at the list, go over a few at once, make sure you get them as habits, so you're practicing them and you're thinking about them, and then once you think that you have it down after a couple days or something like that, then you work on the other tips. And then that way you're not overwhelming yourself, but then you're also making the tips into habits.
Yes.
Biggest thing in this game about for improvement is just fixing mistakes. And if you're fixing your mistakes, then you'll become a better player. So be looking out for what mistakes you're using, especially like, for example, deaths that you have. Those are gonna be a big indication of what mistakes you're making. Is how am I dying? So just be thinking about your mistakes and thinking about how you can fix them.
Barrier won't hold together.
Shouldn't keep shield up well. Where is the turret? Of course I cannot reach away all the way to the turret. So I need to hope that my teammates would do it.
So if you're out of reach of it, don't try to go focus on other things. You're tunnel visioning on the turret when you're out of its range.
I tried to keep cover for them. Yeah, I was do that. Now I have so much in my head. I'm trying to focus this. So this is good. Yeah, at least something to look at.
If only the answers were simple.
That is good.
Activating the barrier.
So instead of trying to shoot the turret, because you only have a 20-meter range, maybe try to shoot the diva on the left and then pressure her out.
Barrier no longer exists.
True.
No one can hide.
No.
No, I have no team with me here, so.
Equation. What's that equation again?
That's why boys would be perfect. Like, but yeah, I've been using it currently.
So
Like if
maybe, oh good.
Yeah.
So maybe before walking in, look behind you real quick to see kind of what's up with your team. See if they're there to go in with you. Another thing is, if you see that you're gonna die, try not to just get no value. So you can even just keep pushing the Zen, because then you can maybe get a kill before you die.
Oh, okay, that was not twice.
Equation. What's that equation again? Oh.
Enemy in my
Nope.
There, you probably should have backed up a lot sooner. So when your 2 DPS died to bomb, is probably when you wanted to back because you were down 2 people. And remember what we were talking about is that's a lost fight.
Yeah, and I should track better the feed for people dying. It's much harder when you don't have anyone in the voice to keep track on it. Oh yeah, I could have eaten both of those ultis if I were awake.
So right now, something that you're doing is that you kind of just, instead of pushing forward, you're placing shield at choke and trying to play a spam war, which with what they're running right now, they have better DPS to play a spam war. Your DPS want to be in there and you're sitting at choke, so instead of setting shield up at choke and sitting there, you want to be pushing forward with shield. So you can even push forward with your ultimate and create space using your ultimate. Like, just be very careful about your health that whole time.
Yeah, that's could have worked if that I would have dealt a bit Diva first.
The universe is magnificent.
Or maybe if I would have combined my ulti with Sombra or something.
I'm just saying, so if you're stuck in a choke like that and they're all standing there, you can use your ultimate to create space.
That was lucky shot.
Enemy turret theory.
This is where I suck. Aiming these squishies. Not gonna hit them.
Yep. So put effort and thought into each individual shot. Think about each shot. Instead of getting flustered that you're missing shots. If you miss a shot, think about the next shot. You're thinking about each individual bullet, and then you want to be hitting each individual bullet. So if you're missing the first volley, you're adjusting onto them so that you're hitting the second volley. Rather than just staying in the same place or staying consistently behind them. So that's going to be how you're hitting, let's say for example, I'm just going to demonstrate this real quick. So we have 2 minutes left anyways, so we'll just go over this real quick and then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
So, we're Sigma, so each individual shot, we have 2 different shots that can go 2 different places. So we hit one, and then we hit the other with something else. So I'd practice this a little bit.
Yeah, that is something I don't really use. I usually
yeah, you don't. I'm not using that as something you shouldn't typically be doing that. That's more of practice of just hitting each individual shot. Because what you are going to be doing is each shot is going to be going, since people are moving, each shot's going to be going slightly different. So I'm going to be tracking him so that I'm hitting both shots. So while he's moving, I'm going to the left with my movement. And then when he goes to the right, I'm going to be going to the right with my movement. So I'm hitting both of those shots because one's going to come after the other. And you have to keep that in mind. You're thinking about every shot you're hitting. So even if we're at a farther range like this, we might move farther with it. So if we're at a farther range, we're moving farther with our mouse now. So we're trying to hit both those shots. Something else you can do is try to bounce shots, which you are looking at the ground a little bit. You just like to look directly at their feet. Yeah, the biggest thing is just put thought and effort into it. Practice it in FFA, free for all, just so that you're getting it down. Besides that, it just takes time and practice, and then you'll be getting your mechanics down. So that pretty much wraps up our session. Do you have any questions about anything we've gone over?
No, not right now. I need to clearly process this first and like practice. My positioning clearly is also something I need to look more into. Even I thought that maybe it's not my worst point, but yeah, aiming everything. So I take best is to practice in the games. Is is the quick play or still comp better to go and challenge myself?
Comp would be better because it's more organized and you're gonna be
Mm.
punished more heavily for mistakes that you make. It's more challenging, so therefore you're gonna be getting more out of it.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
Then I need to just try to get myself into the comp. I have developed at least fairly thick skin, so even if I don't might have my friends around, then because if I want to play tank, I need to be able to do callouts even as a woman in this game. So I just need to ignore what they are saying.
Do you want to schedule the second session right now?
Yeah. I'm as I said, I'm free rest of the week, more or less
Alright.
until Sunday. Next Monday, I go back to work again.
So you ordered the 7-day delivery, so that's gonna mean that it has to be done within what time? So what time would that be?
By was it Tuesday next week?
Did you order it last
Tuesday.
Tuesday?
I thought I think it was Tuesday because it was middle of night. I think it was 16. No, now it's Tuesday. I have no idea. I think it was 23.
Let me get on Fiverr real
or-
quick. I'll just check this.
Yeah. Yeah, I ordered it because I was thinking it's nicer now when I have the week off, so during that time. But I think it's better I practice a bit, couple days now, and then we can look into it again.
Okay, so you have 6 days and 3 hours, so that means that we can do it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can do it Sunday, same time would be the latest, but I'm busy Sundays. Would Saturday same time work for you?
Yeah, Saturday works just fine. I can do Saturday, and then I will list.
Would 30 minutes later work for you? So Saturday 6 o'clock. Actually, wait, I'm looking at the wrong day. My bad. 1 second.
Yeah, no worries.
No, Monday was the last day. So Monday same time. So Monday 5:30 p.m. EST.
Yeah, Monday works also. If you wanted to have some time in between this, so it works for me.
Okay, yep, that would probably work the best, just so that you can get a lot of practice in, so that we're not repeating the same things over and over again. Or if I do have to repeat things, it'll be more focused, rather than just a whole lot of different areas. So yep. I will get those notes to you. I'm gonna stop the